Hey, and welcome back to another Revit Tools video. In this video we'll be covering the Array tool. The Array tool, I honestly don't use it a whole lot, but it's very helpful for specific situations. You can use it to create linear arrays or radial arrays. So I've got a basic room here that's got a stage set up, and I've got a chair just floating out here in the center. And what we're going to do is array this chair to get a full set of seating. So I've got a basic chair there. If I hit the Array tool, I see that I'm first prompted to select an object. This is pretty typical with most tools. So I select the object, and I've got a lot of options that I can work with up here. I can activate the dimensions, which doesn't matter. I get the temporary dimensions, that's not a big deal. But by default, what's selected is the linear option. And so from here, I'm prompted to choose the number in which how many chairs I want, and honestly I ignore this number in the beginning, and you'll see why once we continue to use the tool. And move to, by default the second option will be chosen. And so what this is saying is, for the chair example, maybe I click and I choose 2 feet, and I know that's saying that I want the chairs to be 2 feet apart. If I choose constraint or not, I'm just working with a 90-degree angle or not. If I uncheck that, I'll be able to freely move that chair. You see that dash square is where my chair will ultimately end up, and the dimension that I'm receiving is from the point at which I started. So I'm going to move the chair 2 feet down, and I will click. And now the same number that we see up here applies right down here, so which is why I don't typically end up changing this number in the beginning. So now this is basically saying, how many chairs do you want 2 feet apart to continue down in a linear line? Well, maybe I want 10, and you can see the result is now I have these 10 chairs that are all in a linear line. If I select any of them, I can see that I have that 10 pop up telling me that these are arrayed. And just like before, I can change this number, and I'm getting different numbers of chairs, and that's really helpful. Something also to point out is that every chair that's a part of the array is now in a group. And I'm not a huge fan of groups, but when it comes to arrays, the groups are very helpful. So something I can do at this point is I can edit the group. And let's say, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's mirror this chair to the other side. And as soon as I hit accept, I have the same group now arrayed 4 times. And I can click on any group and change the number, and it works just the same. So that's really helpful. I'll undo that just so we have one chair. And maybe you say, oh, okay, I need 8 chairs, and for some reason I'm done arraying this. Then you can leave it as it is, or you can always blow these up. And maybe you need to edit the groups down the line. I'm not a big fan of ungrouping things if you need it for a particular reason, but something you can do is you can completely ungroup these, and now they're individual chairs that you can freely move and do whatever you want with them. So that's always nice. So now we're back to our single chair again, and I'll go back to the array, and there's also the option of, instead of moving to the second, you can move to the last. So let's say you know that this chair, the first chair and the last chair, need to be 18 feet apart. And so now I'm prompted with the number once again, but now it's when I change this number, now I'm getting the number correlating to how many chairs are going to be between the first chair and the last chair. So a total of 8 chairs. So I could get crazy with this and make this 22, and I could get 22 chairs between the first and the last chair. So I'll put that at forward, and just to see how these chairs go from the first to the last. I will delete these once again, ungroup it. Now I'm back to just that single chair. I go back to the array tool. And that's typically how I use the array tool. You also have the option of grouping and associating, turning that off. Like you saw before, whenever I did end up arraying those down, if I go to second, 6 feet, the result here, by not checking that group and associate, means that the result will just be ultimately copies, arrays down the line with no groups. They're not associated at all. I'll move this number up to 6 so we can see that. I'll make them 2 feet apart, and you can see now I have 6 individual chairs that aren't grouped, aren't associated to each other, or anything like that. Going back to my one chair again, I'll hit array, and this is something that I don't end up using a whole lot, but like the other part of the array tool, it's really useful, and this is so important to remember and know when it comes to anything that you might have to array or copy. So the radial option, as soon as I hit radial, things change quite a bit. So now I've got some different options up here. The number, again, I'm not going to mess with that right now. Move to, I usually keep it second because I want to determine the second. The angle now, because this is a radial, I'm getting an angle. And then the center of rotation. So now let's just start our rotation here. We've got 90. Maybe I want to go 45 degrees. So I'll hit 45 degrees, and it looks kind of funky, but it's basically taking that same chair and arraying it around itself 45 degrees. Let's undo that, and I will go back to the array, and I'm going to hit group and associate so we can understand this a little better. So I'm going to do an angle of 10. Now I can put the angle up here, and I can hit enter, and now I get 3 chairs that continuously copy and array 10 degrees at a time, and I can put this number up to 8, and I can see all of those chairs. But this isn't quite particularly useful because I'm just arraying chairs on top of itself. That's not something I'm going to have to do all the time, if ever. So now let's go back to the array tool. I'll make sure I'm on radial, group and associate, and now I want to change this center of rotation. In fact, let me, for the sake of this tutorial, I'll put the chair over here. Now I will go to the array tool, and I will change the center of rotation. So now I'm prompted to choose a location anywhere that is going to start that center of rotation. Before, the default center of rotation was the center of the object or objects I've chosen or I have selected. So now I'm just going to choose somewhere in the middle of the room. And so at this point, now I'm prompted to once again choose an angle. So maybe I now put in my 45 degrees, and maybe I want 12 chairs in that area. Of course, what I'm getting now is an error in this error saying the item could not be added to the end of the array, as this would make the array greater than or equal to 360 degrees. The maximum number of this array is 8, and that's just based on the angle that I chose. So I'm curious now, once I put in 8, that will work. So once I put in a different number, you can see how the result changes there. And so it's nice to know now that the distance in angle, the angle between this chair, the second, third, and fourth, it's all 45 degrees. And it's nice to know that it's not going to constantly make multiple circles depending on the numbers that you put. It's going to be constrained to one single circle, which is nice. So I'm going to undo that and get back to my single chair again, and I'll show you. I'll place the center of rotation again in the center of the room, but now I'll change this to last, and maybe this is probably going to be more helpful for you. So if I make this angle 360 degrees, I'm going to have work with a full circle. So now I have a full circle, and this number now is basically saying how many chairs I want to be wrapped around in the circle. So I could go infinitely at this point, put 20 chairs in the circle. I could even change this radius if I want, make that 4 and the chairs come together, put that back to about 12. See the number floating here. It could go up really high, really low. It's the array tool, especially the radial array tool, is really helpful for quickly copying and putting all of these together. And so I'll put this again back at 12. And like I showed you before in the linear array, because we've chosen to group and associate these, I can edit the group. For tutorial's sake, I'll copy this chair, mirror it upon itself. I will accept, and now I have this same array that is equally as manipulatable anywhere else, I can change this radius no matter what, change the number, that group is going to change with it. So this was part one of the array tool, and I'm just arraying a tool, or I'm just arraying an element, whether it be a chair, a line, it could be literally anything in a Revit project that you might need to array. But this was part one. In part two, I'm going to get into arraying a family, arraying inside of a family, so that whenever you bring that family into a project, you have all of those options built into the family by itself. There's nothing else to do besides manipulate parameters at that point. So this is part one of the array tool. Sure hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. It tells me that you learned something. And if you would also, please subscribe. That definitely helps me out a lot. If you have any questions, leave those in the comment section below. I'll get to them no matter what. I sure hope you stick around for the part two of the array tool. It will be much more in depth than this. Hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.